I just got back from watching Revenge of the Sith for its 20th anniversary. Let's talk about it. So, I just want to make it clear at the top here that pretty much this is just going to be a little ramble, a little off the cuff, me talking about my love for Star Wars during the time periods of 2002, Attack of the Clones, up till 2005, Revenge of the Sith. And I'm going to try and keep it concise. I'm going to try not to ramble and go off in other tangents too much here. So I do have a little list here that I want to talk about. And I do want to start with this, though. When I walked into the theater today, I was wondering how I was going to be walking out. Now, I've seen Revenge of the Sith many times. There was a time period in my childhood when it was out on DVD. I was watching every Star Wars movie, one movie a day, for almost a year plus. And, you know, you hit there at that point, there was only 6 movies. So when you hit that 6th movie, I would start over. So I've seen Revenge of the Sith many times. And obviously, I'm younger. So the prequels were my era of Star Wars. I was wondering how I was going to be when I walked out of this movie, if my mind would change on what I thought this movie would be, or what it would mean to me, or if I would like it still, or if it was still as impactful to me. It is. This movie, I felt, when I was watching this movie today, I felt like I was 10 years old again. And it was a great feeling. I was in a packed theater. Almost, if it wasn't sold out, it was damn near close. I was in a packed theater, and everyone was having a good time. No one was disruptive. People were watching this movie. There was laughs sometimes. There was a little bit of cheers every once in a while. But I felt like I was back in 2005, and I felt like I had turned into a 10-year-old again. And I got to kind of, for a brief moment, see what, like, kind of relive that. And then a few minutes later, I snapped back and realized, man, I'm old as hell. You know, I'm turning 30 this year. So the movie's been out 20 years. So yeah, I'm turning 30 in a few days. But to talk about how it felt to be a Star Wars fan for me back then was Revenge of the Sith was everywhere. The marketing for this movie was everywhere. And I have a list of things I want to go over. I'm going to start with the toys. I don't have anything here to really show off besides this lightsaber. This thing has seen a lot of action. I tell you, it's hit many fingers. It's hit many walls, many whatever I was sword fighting with. Like this thing it's all beat up. Like this thing has seen its fair share of wear and tear, which I want to say on a tangent real quick. This is Qui-Gon's lightsaber. The hilt is his lightsaber, but the blade is blue. It's always confused me. Now, if you're not a huge Star Wars nerd, you wouldn't understand or even question that, but I question it. But I had the toys. I'm telling you, walking into Walmart after seeing Revenge of the Sith, even before that, leading up to it, just you walk into Walmart, their aisles were packed with these clamshells of each figure. And they had all the main characters, but then they'd have like obscure characters too that like were in like the background of a scene. But like you would know these figures in their shells. They were like the lava with Darth Vader's helmet on it. And it was, I remember every time I went to Walmart, I wanted to get another toy. I wanted to buy another toy. I wanted to add it to my collection. Of, you know, your parents obviously don't want to spend all that money, but I'm telling you, I wanted to have them all. And I still do have a fair amount of, if not all of them, a good chunk of the toys. They're all in storage right now, but I even had if you guys know the Attack Ticks. They were like a game that like you could move as many, the character would be on a base that had like a number on it, and you could move that many times, and it was a fighting game. If I can find a picture, I'll put it up here. But the toys for Revenge of the Sith, it was like you could go watch the movie, and then of course as soon as you get home, it's like you want to reenact the scenes with the characters. And it's like I had the Anakin and Obi-Wans where you squeeze their legs and they would like swing their sabers. Like, man, just talking about this right now just really brings me back. But like outside of the toys, I will say like Burger King, right? So like every time I'd see my dad on the weekends or on Mondays, I'd want to go to Burger King just to collect all the toys. I want to have all the. I know there was like Luke Skywalker, where you could look through the back of his head, and it was like images from the movie. There, someone was a top that'd come apart and it'd spin. A couple of them were squirt things, like right here. This little figure right here. There's a little story with this one. I'll share it real briefly if Jamie you're watching, my sister. This thing hit my dad in the back of the head while he was driving. Not this one specifically, but this Emperor. I had another one back in the day, but I'm telling you, I loved collecting the Star Wars stuff from Revenge of the Sith. But the thing is, as a kid, this stuff was everywhere. I'm telling you, you could not close your eyes long enough without it. Okay, you could close your eyes, but then you'd hear it. There was like ads on Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and even Disney. It's like every time between shows, Star Wars, get the toys, get the games, get Burger King. Like it was Star Wars, like Revenge of the Sith specifically. Like I don't really remember Attack of the Clones because I was like even younger back then. But like as a kid, like it was almost impossible to avoid anything Revenge of the Sith. And now I want to talk about the biggest things that impacted me were the games. And obviously I'm a gamer, so this game right here, boom, this game is phenomenal. I haven't played it in a long time, and I watched some YouTube videos of some gameplay, and it really makes you want to boot my PlayStation 2 up just to dive into this game. Like the saber combat, the upgrade system, even like one of the coolest things too in this is everyone knows the ending. You could play as Anakin in the end and actually kill Obi-Wan and win, so it's like an alternate ending. But one of the other cool things is there's a level in this game that's a deleted scene from the movie. That's cool. Like, how many other things can you say you can actually play a deleted scene from a movie in a game? This game was awesome. I would rent it nonstop. I had a PS2, but I never owned games back then. I don't know why. It wasn't until later I started owning my own games, but this was a repeat rent for me. Also with this, repeat rent. This game is one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. It's in the top 3. Revenge of the Sith. So these are top in the top 3. I'll get to my possible number 1 in a second here, but this game I rented again on repeat, and I played the hell out of this. And a lot of people love Battlefront 2 more than this one, and I understand why. There's a lot more content in it. Battlefront 2 is an awesome game as well. But I think my nostalgia for this game, hearing the classic clone voices, destroy the Techno-Union chips and stuff like that, this game just has a lot of nostalgia for me with that. This game was one of my first owned games, I believe, where I actually got this like shrink wrapped as a gift. So there's a little cool thing with that. But my favorite Star Wars game, which isn't Revenge of the Sith related, but is actually this one, which has made Jango Fett. Yeah, ignore the bootleg case. But here, this is an official one. But this game made me love Jango Fett, and Jango Fett is now officially my favorite Star Wars character. So anyway, I don't want to get off topic of Revenge of the Sith for too long, but this game right here, I think this came out maybe a year later or so. This was awesome. To be able to play through all the prequel trilogy movies in one game and play as like almost all the characters. I played the shit out of this game as a kid. My sister played with me. One of my favorite things to do in this game was also just being in the hub world in the cantina, just fighting all the random characters. Like they would go ape shit on each other. That was great. So I talked about the games, I talked about the toys, and I talked about the marketing, but I did want to mention real quick, I don't have it with me, but do you guys remember that Star Wars like TV plug and play? It was like Darth Vader's mask and like his, I don't know, his like chest area where you held the controller, and like it came with like 5 or so preloaded games on there. That shit was cool. I played that. I wish I had it to show, but you can Google it, or I could put an image up here. But yeah, I played the games. I played with I had the toys. Burger King was always, I needed to go there for the toys as well. I had the sabers. I'm trying to think of what else I can really touch on besides the fact that my childhood with Star Wars was and is important to me. And I'm just very, very happy that going to this movie today, I was able to feel like a kid again and go back in time for just a brief moment and relive that 2005 feeling just briefly. But it was it's such a great feeling. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I don't want it to be too long. I know it was a ramble. I was kind of spewing all over the place, but that's kind of what I do here, right? I don't have all I don't organize real well. Okay, I don't organize real well. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me talk. And if you guys are watching this before the end of the 20th anniversary re-release, go out and watch it. Relive that experience. Bring someone who hasn't seen the movie yet, maybe another kid, so that years down the line they can have the feeling that I'd have today. And it's a great feeling. Anyway, like I said, don't want to ramble too much, so I'm gonna end this here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.